Discipline, the hidden superpower that builds unstoppable success. Why discipline matters more than motivation. Most people wait for motivation to act. They wait for the right mood, the perfect timing, the sudden spark of energy that will finally push them forward. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It's like a visitor who comes and goes without warning. Discipline, on the other hand, is a permanent resident. It's not about feelings. It's about choices. Discipline says, I will do what I said I would do, even when I don't feel like it. Jim Rohn once said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Without that bridge, you'll forever be stuck on the side of wishful thinking, staring at your goals from a distance, but never reaching them. The nature of discipline. Discipline is not punishment, nor is it self-denial for the sake of suffering. Discipline is self-respect. It is proving to yourself that your future matters more than your impulses. Every act of discipline is a small vote for the person you want to become. When you wake up early to train, when you resist the urge to scroll endlessly, when you say no to distractions, you're shaping your character. Think of discipline as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just like any muscle, if you neglect it, it weakens. Discipline versus motivation. Motivation feels good, but it fades quickly. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline answers, it doesn't matter. I will do it anyway. Motivation depends on emotion. Discipline depends on commitment. That's why athletes train when it's raining, entrepreneurs work when they're tired, and leaders stay consistent even when no one is watching. Discipline turns average people into extraordinary achievers. The psychology of self-control neuroscience shows that self-control works like a battery. The more decisions you make, the more your willpower drains. That's why highly disciplined people build systems, routines, and habits to reduce the number of decisions they must make each day. Steve Jobs wore the same style of clothes every day, not because he lacked fashion sense, but because he didn't want to waste mental energy on trivial choices. Discipline is not about being rigid. It's about creating freedom through structure. Delayed gratification, the secret of long-term success. One of the most famous experiments in psychology is the marshmallow test. Children were given a choice: eat one marshmallow immediately, or wait and receive two later. The children who could delay gratification grew up to have better careers, health, and relationships. Why? Because they mastered the principle of discipline, choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. Life constantly tests you with marshmallows, temptations, distractions, shortcuts. Discipline is saying, I choose what I want most over what I want now. Stories of discipline. That changed the world. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. His discipline in experimentation illuminated the world. Nelson Mandela endured 27 years in prison, yet his discipline of patience and forgiveness reshaped a nation. Kobe Bryant was legendary, not just for his talent, but for his relentless training at 4 a.m., proving that discipline beats raw talent. Discipline is the common denominator of greatness. Building the habit of discipline. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Here are practical steps. Start small. Don't try to change your whole life overnight. Build discipline in one area, and it will spill into others. Create systems. Design your environment to reduce temptation. Remove distractions instead of relying on willpower. Consistency over intensity. It is better to train 20 minutes every day than to train 2 hours once a month. Reward progress. Reinforce your discipline with small rewards that align with your goals. Accountability. Share your commitments with someone who will hold you to your word. The freedom that comes from discipline, ironically. Discipline, which feels like restriction, is actually the path to freedom. Financial discipline creates financial freedom. Health discipline creates physical freedom. Mental discipline creates emotional freedom. The undisciplined life looks free, but it's actually slavery. Slavery to impulses, addictions, and regrets. A disciplined life may feel tough, but it leads to a future without chains. How to stay disciplined when you feel like quitting. There will always be days when you want to quit. That's normal. The key is not to eliminate those feelings, but to outlast them. Remember your why. Remind yourself of the bigger vision. Use the 2-minute rule. If it feels overwhelming, just start for 2 minutes. Momentum will carry you. Focus on process, not outcome. Fall in love with the daily grind, and results will take care of themselves. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Conclusion. Discipline is destiny. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not always fun. It's often silent, lonely, and unnoticed. But it is always worth it. Your goals, your dreams, your potential, they are waiting for you on the other side of discipline. So today, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Build discipline, and you'll build a life of freedom, purpose, and unstoppable success. Because in the end, discipline is not just a habit. Discipline is destiny.